Hey, hey. All right. Welcome. Welcome, regulars, to the Experience Bar podcast. This is episode number 10. We want to welcome you. Pull up your favorite stool and meet your barkeeps for today. As always, my name is Justin LaForge, and with me we have Aston Reyes.
What's up?
And Danny White.
Hey, guys.
And so we want to welcome you here again. This is an exciting episode. We've got a lot in store for you, and so why don't we just start off with what is on the menu for games this week of September 8th. And so we've got a couple great announcements here for games coming up to you. Starting with, why don't we start with Amnesia Machine of Pigs. Right? Sean is super upset that he's missing this podcast. I think it's largely because Machine for Pigs is coming out. I think he is already in line for it.
Or he's watching Book of Mormon, but there's that.
That's just his cover. I think he's waiting for the digital copy at the Steam headquarters, Valve headquarters.
so he can pick up the virtual copy.
Yeah, exactly. So that the download goes really quick. He's hooked up to the Ethernet there. So yeah, Machine for Pigs is coming out for PC. This is September 10th. That's Tuesday. I'm very excited for that. A lot of people have been really excited to see what that new installment of Amnesia means for the series there. And then we also have, coming out September 10th, the Elder Scrolls Anthology.
Yay.
You guys picking this up?
I really want to.
I never got into Elder Scrolls, so I'm...
Well, for $80...
What is wrong with you?
For $80, you can have the whole thing. For $80, you can have the whole thing. I think it starts at Arena and goes all the way to Legendary Skyrim. So it's a pretty good deal. That's exciting. I think it comes with DLC
Nice.
as well. And then we also have coming out September 10th. I know you're super excited for Young Justice Legacy. Anyone? I like the show. It almost looks like a Marvel Ultimate Alliance kind of style game. It's coming out for PC and DS the 10th, but it looks like...
Strange.
Yeah.
Combination of...
It's a very strange combination. And it looks like...
Ouya and WonderSwan.
And then the rest of the consoles, 360, PS3, will get Young Justice around November 19th, I believe. And then big exciting things, I think I'm going to pick this up, is Kingdom Hearts. The Remix 1.5 HD is coming out. That's September 10th as well. I have not played a Kingdom Hearts game.
Neither have I,
and I think
Again,
it's time.
what is wrong with you people?
I can't play Square Enix games, apparently, except for Brave Fencer Musashi. It's the only one.
You're dead to me.
I'm sorry.
Well, hopefully we can
way too
redeem
lost.
ourselves with this.
Yeah. All three of you, because I know Sean hasn't either. All three of you had better get it.
Man.
Even though it's not that great.
I have Kingdom
I know.
Hearts. Like, a friend gave it to me because he got rid of his PS2, so I have, like, 1 and 2. And I played a lot of the Game Boy Advance one, but not to completion, so I don't know if that means anything.
Huh. I didn't know there was a Game Boy Advance version.
Yeah, you play with cards. It's weird.
Oh,
Oh,
wait, I actually saw
yeah.
this.
Like, it's weird. It's like you have card. Like, it's a card game. It's weird.
Huh. Another game that's coming out that I'm super excited for September 10th is The Puppeteer. This game looks adorable. I want it. You play as a little puppet in a little puppet theater, and you collect heads, and it gives you abilities, and
Aw,
you
so
fight other
cute.
puppets. So it just totally reminds me of like Little Big Planet and
I was
other
about to
stuff
say
like that.
like Sackboy is gonna be crying in the corner.
Yeah, poor Sackboy.
D-pad down twice.
This guy's got. Look at those scissors. Look at those scissors. Like, they could cut off Sackboy's head. I'm just saying. He needs to be a DLC character in PlayStation All Stars.
Battle Royale.
And then, so this is also coming to PS3 September 10th. Sanctum 2. It was out on, I believe, PC and Xbox 360. It's like a first-person shooter tower defense game. It's very, very interesting. That'll be worth checking out. And then
Like
coming,
zombies, but not really.
and then coming to Xbox 360 and PS3 on September 10th is NHL 2014. I was a big NHL game fan, and I haven't picked up one since 2011. So maybe I'll check this one out. But that's.
Do they have better
So-
fighting physics?
It's always about the fighting. It's always about the fighting in it.
How funny would it be if they made like a fighting game that wasn't like it was a hockey game, but there was no hockey. It was just fighting.
It was just hockey fighting.
Like,
Hockey
it was
fighting
just like
simulator.
hockey players, and then you have to select hockey players, and then you fight like on an ice rink. I think we should make it. I'm just saying.
Is it like
Oh,
2D,
oh my
like
God.
a standard fighter? Is it like Marvel
Yeah,
vs. Capcom? So
yeah.
they've all got
3D.
combos.
Either way, you can have both, I guess. The classic
So if
version.
Street Fighter meets NHL, we would get Aston's game concept.
Mhm.
And then we'll release it in Ouya because there'll be a market for it there. Because of course it would be there.
I don't know. I could see this with move functionality or connect functionality.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
And then also coming September 17th, 17th?
17th.
September 10th. This is the last game on September 10th. Is Killzone Mercenary coming to Vita? We're really excited for that game. That'll be fun. Looks like a really.
Is the Killzone games on Vita like are they like not like are the stories good or is it still just like meh?
I don't know. I've only played the beta of the Killzone Mercenary, so it's multiplayer, and it's fantastic. Like, it feels like a console shooter. And
Because I don't
that's-
even remember like Killzone 2's story, and I played the whole game. Like I can't even remember what happened. I just know that it was like, oh look, pretty colors. Like
a lot of times people didn't really play Killzone for the story. I mean,
but still, it's just a.
you get up to the end, and then Rico screws everything up because he should have been court-martialed a long time ago.
I don't even.
But
I don't. Not.
It happens.
I just know that evil alien-looking thing that are not
It's like-
aliens.
every chapter, this character does something that should get him court-martialed in a regular military, but he just keeps going along, and he ends up screwing up the entire plot. So that's. I'm sorry for the spoilers, but I mean, you get to figure out why
it's-
or how.
It's
So
a
that's
common
exciting.
ploy in these war games, isn't it? So
Yeah.
not really ruining anything, really.
And then coming the 11th to Xbox 360 is DuckTales Remastered. You're getting it
Yes.
now.
Oh, I think
So that should be fun. I want to check that game out again. Looks like they did a good job, like remastering it.
I'm absolutely getting it.
And then the last game for this week that's coming out is Arma 3, and so that's coming to PC on September 12th. And that pretty much does it for all the releases coming this week. And so why don't we jump into just what we've been playing up through the last week here. Aston, what have you been up to?
Ouya. So, more or less, I've just been on a downloading spree on Ouya because, like, most of the games are free to play. at least with the demo, right? So I've been doing stuff. There's been some pretty interesting ones. There's pretty interesting games, and frankly, I like the games that are free, not because they're free, but like they're more statement games, and that's totally up my alley. They're more about thought and whatnot. I'm gonna eventually, I don't know when, I'm super busy, but write an article about like my findings with the Ouya. One game that does stand out in particular, though, that I played, and I only played one level of it, but like I saw it. It's called Polarity. And more or less, it is a copy of Portal, but not. Like, you're apparently a hacker in a hacking system, and you're hacking like it's weird, but it uses cubes just like in Portal. Like you're in a sterile environment like Portal. It feels like Portal, but the difference is that you control polarity of your charge, your negative or positive, right? Or in this case, orange or not orange or blue, red or blue. And so there's things that you have to do.
Green and yellow. Or
there's
something.
things that you have to do to change. You have to change your polarity in order to solve the puzzles. And when I was looking at videos of it, like through other people, and everyone's saying like there's some levels on here that rival Portal's best like level design. So there's even that, and it's an Ouya game of all things. Like, and I think it's exclusive to Ouya if I'm not mistaken. So, like, I might end up buying that game to see. The common complaint about it is that it's too short, which makes sense because it's an Ouya game. But like, people are hoping that with more funding they'll be able to like either add more levels or like create a sequel. So we'll see about that. And also I've been playing Mario, and by Mario I mean I installed a toilet today. So there's that.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Hopefully you didn't run into too many Koopas.
Yeah, it got kind of weird when Goombas were just coming out of nowhere, but you know. Just
You mean your bathroom didn't turn into the water zone?
Were you at least singing to yourself Mario the entire time?
No, because you know when you have your hand deep in a toilet.
All right.
You're not really thinking about that.
So, going back though, before the Ouya topic, did you guys see this article on that Ouya was promising if you meet a goal on Kickstarter of $50,000 or more, Ouya will pay you the same dollar amount that you raise to make a game that is exclusive to Ouya. So
that sounds interesting.
So you say you raise $50,000 making an Ouya exclusive game, they would give you an additional $50,000 to make your game. And what had happened was immediately 3 counterfeit Kickstarters were suspended because they just had a bunch of people with fake accounts fund their game,
their own,
and so that Ouya would give them $50,000 so that they could make a game. Yeah,
that's actually
basically
pretty smart, but also bad at the same time.
Yeah, pay yourself $50,000, refund the money to yourself, and then and then get a $50,000 for free. So that didn't quite work as Ouya planned.
They're the little guy. I love them, but that's just me and supporting the underdog. So
I'm just surprised that they have that money to like throw around at projects like that.
Right? Like, what if somebody raised $200,000? Do they have?
They probably have a lot of like sponsors and partner help going on now, and they're probably like it's an incentive program, right? So they're not expecting every single person to just like be able to raise up $50,000.
Or there's probably fine print in it too. You're probably not going to get a check cut immediately for raise that. It's probably upon completion or installment plans based on deliverables or whatever.
We'll give you extra of the sales of the game on the store. I don't even know.
That has to be it, because I can't imagine them having the liquid capital to just say, "Oh yeah, sure.
All I know is
here's a check."
Just writing checks.
Blank checks.
What were you saying, Aston?
Games that I heard one of the games that I heard that was supposed to be really good is it was a Sherlock Holmes game. It fell through, and like everyone's upset about that. But
that was the game.
That was the game that was
Elementary, my Dear Watson or something. Yeah, that was suspended because it had fraudulent charges.
Really? Okay. So. Well then.
Yep.
Well then.
Well, Danny, what are you playing?
Oh my gosh, I have time to play games again. I'm so excited. Anyway, I had a friend come down for the weekend, and he brought his Vita, and I totally kicked trash on Darkstalkers Resurrection with BB Hood, and I took the top score, and he has yet to beat it. So, ha! Nah, I was very proud of myself. But, no, I've also been doing a lot of Rock Band, so please don't judge me too harshly. But I have started getting my better expert levels on bass, which I'm super excited for.
Nice.
I'm going to start trying to conquer Avenged Sevenfold now, which is going to kill my fingers, but yeah.
It's weird. It's weird how that entire series just kind of like plateaued and then it's gone.
Yeah, a lot of it was just over market saturation, I think.
I mean, party games tend to do that anyways, right? Like I remember Mario Party being the thing, and now they have so many Mario Parties and there's no reason for it now.
Yeah, it's because like you want that one game like that everyone of your friends is playing, and the second that there's like 2 a year of that game, it's like, well, which one do you have? Oh, I got this one. I don't know. I'm kind of bored of it.
Yeah.
And then you just never buy one again.
Honestly, I think those games are the best in college and dorm rooms just because there's always a bunch of people. But
yes.
I guess for smaller families, but that's about it.
If you ever want to lose friends, play Mario Party.
Absolutely.
Don't you steal my star. Don't you steal my star.
No, I actually did lose a friend on it because I had no idea what I was doing, and me, the idiot that I am, picked Sonic first, so my only kill was I kill-stealed everybody else's kills because I had no idea how to work him. And yeah.
I remember one of the games.
Yeah,
wait,
you mean
everything.
Brawl? That's Brawl.
Okay.
Sorry. Yes, like, Brawl. Other way like, to lose a lot of
Mario
friends.
Party got really dark.
Oh god. I'm gonna have another injection of my caffeine here. It'll be fine.
What were you gonna say, Aston? I think you're.
Oh yeah, no, I was saying like I remember when one of the Mario Party games you had to unlock stuff. So I remember like when we realized that if we all converged together and made one person win with all the stars, we could unlock everything faster. So we just play the game until the very end, like, and then we just like, okay, who has the most stars? Okay, give him all the stars, like. And then we get all this stuff and all the things unlocked, and we're like, yay, cool now.
Yeah, I mean, that was the best thing about like Mario Party 2 or whatever it was, where it had like the mini game selection, and you could just pick the ones that you liked to play and just do those on like random with your friends. Like, I liked that way better than doing the whole board game thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then, what have I been playing? I bought Spelunky on the Vita. And that's been very, very fun. Although I have not gotten very far, because it's pretty hard, actually. And I don't know if... Have any of you heard of this game?
No.
No. You've not heard of Spelunky. Spelunky is like... It's a dungeon crawler kind of game. It's like a platformer where you like descend into the mines and you play this little Indiana Jones guy with like a whip. And everything's randomly generated. All the levels, all the monsters, all the shops, all the different layouts. Like you can have different things you run into. And every day, the like leaderboard updates and gives like new challenges, and you compete with people and like see how far you can go or see how much gold you can get in that cave. And so it's kind of cool. It's pretty cool. It's kind of kicking my butt though right now. So
Oh, by the way, I do want to mention that I just realized I played Halo, Spartan Assault. I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had they finally came out with demos for it for Windows Phone and Windows 8, and it's a twin shooter, so I'm not really interested in buying it. But it's really polished, at least. It's really nice, but it's still just like it's a twin shooter, so it's not bad.
I don't know. I kind of really like the twin shooter genre. I think it's a lot of fun. I played a lot of Detonation and like.
It's just like going through my head though. I was just like, there's a bunch of twin shooters that I could have played. Like, and there's actually a bunch of there's actually this really good independent one on Windows Phone called, and I think it's also on other platforms, but I forget. It's not Gun Bros. That's by Gameloft, but like I was impressed. Like it was a completely free game. Like there wasn't even that much in-app purchases at all, which is interesting. But like they had like 3D animations and movies and stuff, and I was like, wow. And it was a twin shooter game, so like it was pretty cool. I forget what it's called, but it's on my phone somewhere. But yeah, I was thinking like I could probably be playing that first, and then I'll like end up playing, because I don't play Halo games, so I don't know what they like. I'm totally lost in the story and whatnot with what they're talking about. So.
Well, I thought that looked really good. I'd be interested to give it a shot and see what you thought of it. Otherwise,
you just need to get Windows 8.
They need to bring it to the Apple Store. That's what
they probably might. Like they might not be opposed to that, because before Connectimals was supposed to be Windows Phone exclusive, and then they brought that out to iPhone. And was it Android too?
I think so.
I didn't know that was an iPhone.
Yeah, no, it's on iPhone. I was so pissed too. I was like, "What? You said exclusive." It's like now other people can play with lions, like lion cubs, on their phones. Like it's supposed to be an exclusive club, Microsoft.
What? You mean a game that's supposed to be exclusive ends up not being exclusive?
It's still interesting, though,
that would never happen ever.
We're seeing that a lot.
It's a Microsoft IP though. That's the thing that's interesting about it, you know? Like I'd understand if it was like, I don't know, Square Enix or something like that, like makes a multi-platform game.
You've got to understand like the benefits that they're getting from keeping Connectimals on just the Windows 4 is not nearly the same as selling it on the iPhone. And in the end, they'd like to get the most money that they can. So that's always going to be the case.
I mean, they're trying to change stuff. I mean, they even put Office on iOS and Android. So who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised if they did, like at the very least iOS. I don't think they would be able to pull off Android, just because there's so many different versions. But I wouldn't doubt that they would potentially like bring it to iOS. So.
Well, it's certainly getting a lot easier to port games to different platforms than it was. And that's largely because we have some fantastic game engines, which is actually our topic of this week.
I see what you did there, Justin.
I worked so hard on it. The entire time Aston was talking, I was thinking about it. So our topic today is on game engines and what the best game engine, most popular engines of 2013 have been, and what it means for the future, and how game makers it's changing the business and everything like that. And so I don't know if any of you have anything to start with, but I spent all last night playing with Unity and watching the Unite tutorials on the new features they're adding, and I am so jazzed on this whole topic, mainly because with the new Unity update that's going to come out, they're going to allow 2D designing in natively in Unity, and pretty much some fantastic like sprite systems. So you'll just be able to load up Unity and pretty much throw sprites into a file and then change the depth and then port it to PC, Mac, Wii U, Vita,
Ouya,
PlayStation, everything. It ports to everything, and like and now you can use the free version of Unity, and like you can port to the iPhone and Windows Phone and all the mobile things for free. I don't know about Windows Phone actually.
It's never.
But yeah, you can just ship off this game that you made for free using the free Unity, free to the iStore, and then just you have a game. And yes, it's a little more complex than that, but like, but
it's like, are we gonna have games that are like fart apps? Like,
but what's impressive is like,
oh, look, it's a fart sound.
that you could potentially make this game, and while you would have to do some scripting and stuff like that if you wanted a good game, you could potentially do it without scripting if you did some asset work and stuff like that, and you could just make a game without ever touching code. And I think we're getting closer and closer to this, like, anybody can make a game, and I'm excited for that.
Well, there's still a lot to say about, you still have to be pretty good at design. Like, like you can be terrible at code, but be good at design. So, like, there's still a threshold. It's not like it's going to be really easy just because it's, like, no code, but yeah, I agree. It makes it more accessible. Like, that's for sure. So.
Yeah, but the problem with accessibility, I'm just concerned with the fact that you're going to flood the market with a whole bunch of crap. Like, if anybody can make a game, anybody will make a game. And that's not necessarily a great thing.
Yeah.
Like,
there's always going to be more complex tools. There's always going to be more stuff that you have to learn and everything in order to make something that's impressive. And you're going to have talented people always in order to make talented stuff. But I will counter that argument with, look at YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to bring that up too, actually.
Anyone can make a video on YouTube. Does that mean that YouTube's filled with crap? Yeah, normally. But what do you see in YouTube? Only the stuff that's really, really good, because it just kind of self-filters.
And that's the stuff that's going to come out in the forefront anyways. And not only that, I mean, I think there's always room for more apps, right? Because that's what everyone talks about. That's what people give, like, Windows Phone crap about. But here I am with my phone filled saying that I need to empty space because I have too many apps. Like, so it's like, I don't think it really matters that there's going to be a bunch of crap on this market, because at the end of the day, it's like, you have the choice to download it or not. And the ones that do truly matter are the ones that are going to go in the forefront and the ones that you're going to care about. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's just my fear. But I do like the fact that I think it will make it so more people enter the development market, which is really good. I think it'll tie people to get them maybe interested in it at younger ages, so that way they actually do become truly proficient, instead of that market edging out. But still, I don't know. Flooding the market with crap sometimes is a nightmare to sort it.
Well, I am super interested in the idea of more people making games, because right now, so games started with computer developers. And for the longest time, we've had this tradition of what computer developers like. They liked Lord of the Rings, and they liked Star Trek, and so we got a lot of fantasy and we got a lot of sci-fi, and like that was the basis of what video game culture was, and it just took off from there. And like,
power to the people.
If you look at this, like they were reading Lord of the Rings in their spare time and figuring out how to make graphical interfaces, at work, and this same culture has been this like male-dominated, nerd kind of culture that's been video games, but we haven't seen like the, where are the games about what it's like to be a Muslim American? Where are the games about, like growing up in Swahili? Like, I don't know. Like, we only see a very, very small lens of what, of the people are making games can, deliver. So I'm excited for that reason.
It does help a lot with the idea of, video games as art, to have these different like, because at the end of the day, a video game is a medium, right? A medium of expression. So to be able to do something like how it's like to be a Muslim American or something like that, you know, stuff like Unity, stuff that makes it easier for people to make those kinds of experiences, is going to be great, because then you'll have games and stuff like that that do offer that experience, which actually, like what I was going to write about in the Ouya, because there's games on there that just like blew my mind, and it's just like no one knows about them because they're hidden in the sidelines, you know.
Well, that's the same thing with art games on Newgrounds and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. So
you were gonna say something, Danny? I don't know. You were about to jump in, but
yeah.
I can come up with something.
I mean, I like it for that reason. I like more people making games. Just gives more lenses, and the ones that are going to be truly good are going to surface, and that's how it is on YouTube. That's how it is on like.
It's kind of one of those things like what's it called, like. Not that the kid is a prodigy, but like, you know, there'll be people that are like artistic in a certain way, and they can just like whatever medium that is, whether it be Photoshop or I don't know, like metalwork or something like that, they just are able to make it so like ridiculously good. So there's going to be people that embrace the Unity engine and just make it like sing, you know. And that's what I'm excited for, the fact that like here we are with these things, and they like can totally make something really polished and clean without the use of, or without the need of having some kind of big company, you know, to back them up.
I think it's going to be really interesting to look at what it does to the costs of video games. I think I really just want to see if it drives up the cost of the good games, or if it lowers the cost of all games. And I would be really interested to see how that's going to affect the markets, to be honest. Because it could go either way, really.
Because how much I'm talking about how great it would be to have like these better lenses, it would not be great if truly talented people got paid less for making good games, you know.
Exactly. Or conversely, you know, drive up the cost of the AAA games just because, you know what, you're expecting a better quality. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the answer to it, but I think it would be really fascinating to see it, because definitely
the economics of the game is just
Oh yeah, the economics of the gaming market is absolutely fascinating. But
well, I think it's interesting in the idea that like this level of entry, or this barrier to entry into the video game development scene, is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And what it's going to happen, I feel like, is going to be kind of akin to movies. While movies take a lot to like put together to make a good one, like you have these just singular people, like these directors, these famous people that they make a movie and you go see it. And like we're going to kind of see that more and more. Like we're going to get more Ken Levines, we're going to get more like Notches, we're going to get more stuff like that. And
but that could be good, you know. The developers haven't gotten the recognition they really deserve in the market. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it could be a good thing for certain people to get bigger followings and to have people actually know who they are. But I don't know. I definitely know that the costing of the other generation gaming engines, it's huge. So, I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really interesting that like you can be a game studio and you can make an engine for your game and then turn around and sell it too.
Yeah.
As a lot of studios are doing.
Yeah. I mean, Unreal is more or less like
oh yeah, the Unreal Engine.
One of the leading forces of the game industry, but Unreal Tournament was never a huge like multi-million billion-dollar game, you know, like but here it is, like the Unreal Engine is running almost everything, so
yeah, and I think, what is it, Unreal 4 is going to be the next one?
Yeah.
Unreal Engine
and
4.
Ridiculous.
It's pretty impressive. The problem is, though, with it, can the hardware even keep up with it? I mean, we're hitting the ceiling. It seems like, obviously we've already hit it for this generation, but...
in terms of ceiling, though, like that was kind of the whole thing with games, right? Like I remember, especially for PC gaming, that was kind of the thing to do. Like the badass game that comes out is the one that you can't run because there is no hardware yet that
I'm just gonna cut you off
like,
1 second. So for those of you that don't know, when we say hitting the gaming ceiling, it's when the game engines run at a level that hardware can't accommodate. So it's trying to run specs that you normally can't run, just as a definition. Okay, continue, Aston. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I think it was like Doom 2 that did that back in the day. But that, I kind of like that. I kind of like the idea that, like, let's make an engine that we can't even use the full potential of it yet. Like, because there is no hardware that exists for it yet. I think Source kind of did that back in the day, right? The Source engine with Valve
certainly game. Crytek did it with Crysis. I mean,
I feel though that like Crysis, at least the original Crysis, like it's kind of sad because everyone's like, oh, can it run Crysis? But I think that Crysis is just incredibly like poorly coded, like because you have like Crysis 2 and 3 that are just like so well polished, and Crysis 1 is just like there, like not as polished as the other two. So I mean, that's what happens.
I think. Oh, sorry. I think
it was just graphics. Yeah.
I think pushing the ceiling is great for PC. But I would hate for this next generation to come out and have the ceiling of consoles and have the ceiling at 80% almost pushed out. Does that make sense?
Well, here's also the counter argument with the ceiling, right? Unreal 4 is also designed for mobile in mind, too. Yeah. So that being said, it's limited to the mobile hardware as well. And with that in mind, I mean, we're making huge feats in the mobile industry. If you told me 2 years ago that we'd have quad-core like processors in smartphones, I would be laughing. Like I am pretty sure I was. Like I remember my friend told me like, "Do you think you're gonna have quad core?" I was like, "No, we haven't even optimized dual core yet on smartphones." And here we are, quad core, and then now we're getting to octa core. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, what is it? There's a difference between like running mobile and like optimizing for mobile because Unity and Unreal and stuff can do mobile. It's just like you have to you kind of prepare for it. You're still able to do a lot of other stuff. It's not limiting you. What is limiting you is I feel like we're reaching the point where like getting to that high end of like graphics and quality and how much can
to the point where it doesn't matter
push is more costly to studios than it is rewarding. Like you can make a game without photorealism and without all those complex AIs and without all those complex systems that cost money and time to develop, and you can still sell it for the same amount of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think that's true. And the other problem with these costing structures is, okay, so you're going to put X number of money in so you could use, say, a highly sophisticated particle engine which does all of that, but does it really matter? Do your players really want that, or would they rather you spend that money into creative, to making something more immersive? Like how should you partition those costs when you have to think about the trade-offs between what will happen with creativity and story and getting some really awesome effect through buying another part of a game engine? And I think, because I don't know, I like things to be pretty, but with all of the particles and having really tight tessellation, which is how tight the polygons are, which is how everything runs and how closely they fit together, I wouldn't really notice the difference between a bunch of them, and I'd much rather them spend it into creativity. But that could just be personal taste.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of hard to to sanction off, like, we're going to invest $1 million in our creativity department. Like, it's kind of hard to do that because creativity is it's a subjective and opinionated thing. But I do agree in the idea that, like, it could end up being very just like everything's the same, especially like we see that a lot recently with Unreal games or games that use Unreal, specifically FPSs. They're all run of the mill. They're all the same. They're all they're kind of like the big wig like AAA titles version of shovelware, right? Like they have the money, they have the license. All they have to do is copy everyone else, like, and they'll just put it out and they'll make money. They know they'll make money. Like, they don't care if it's good or not. Like, that's just what it is. One thing I do want to bring up, because we were talking about mobile and engines and whatnot. Pretty much the Ouya's future depends on mobile ships and game engines, right? So it depends on Unreal and Unity, which those are the two ones that are mobile, right? I don't think there's other popular game engines that are mobile, right?
There's a billion game engines. You know,
yeah.
For mobile, there's Cocos 2D,
I'm talking about, like,
LibGDX, But for the big guys,
I'm referring to like a one that will produce a lot of games like that are really popular, like Unreal, like Unity.
I think there's a lot of engines trying to morph into mobile, but they haven't quite reached it yet for the big ones.
Yeah.
I know DICE has mentioned trying to get into mobile, but I'm not sure how feasible it is for them.
Yeah. And another thing is that apparently, and this brings it back up the whole, like, Ouya makes a console every year, right? And a lot of people are complaining about that. Well, apparently, the next Ouya is rumored to have Tegra 5, and the Tegra 5, the NVIDIA Tegra 5 chip. And the NVIDIA Tegra 5 chip apparently is more powerful than the cell processor in the PS3. So, like, we're coming from, the Ouya 1, which is a NVIDIA Tegra 3, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, which is a quad-core and, like, probably as powerful as, say, I don't know, a Wii. It's probably as powerful as a Wii. To something that's as more powerful than the PS3, in a small, tiny box. Like, there's something to be said about having a console every year when you're in the market of mobile CPUs, So I think that's what Ouya was trying to get at with the whole idea that they're going to make a console every year. And that is a big deal, right? Like, if you have something that's more powerful than the PS3, like, that's kind of, like, interesting to think about, especially when you have Unity and Unreal, being big players in this mobile market now. So it's an interesting concept to think about and what is possible.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting developments in this whole game industry, and game engine series, and what I think was one of the most interesting ones is the invention of Twine, and also, oh gosh, it just escaped me. Sketch, I think it is.
And you're talking about like video game stuff, not like real Twine, like.
Yeah, can you explain that?
So Twine, absolutely. So Twine is a engine that is solely based on text adventures. It helps. So you pretty much write a story, and you are given these tools that can help you expand upon the functionality of your text adventure, and it gives it not only that, but like a way of showing your game off and, having these people recognize it because there's like other Twine users and stuff like that. And so it kind of revitalized this text adventure thing that's been dead for like way too long. And so we have a lot of people that are doing it's almost less about game developers and it is more about like writers and poet writers. Poets, that's what they're called.
Like the games that I've been playing on Ouya, they're categorized as visual novels, and those are the ones that were hitting me hard because it's just like you lose a lot of story in games now because at the end of the day a game is supposed to be interactive, right? So people throw story out in the sideways because like what we were talking about earlier with Killzone, no, apparently people don't play Killzone for the story, which the story is terrible. I don't remember the story, and story is still very important because you'll have games like Spec Ops: The Line that have a crazy story, and it brings a much more deeper experience into your life than it would be to say like Killzone, Like the experience that I got out of Killzone is like, oh, like look, like it's so pretty, like it's so look how clean it is, like that's all I get from Killzone.
That was thanks to the Unreal Engine.
And that was thanks to the Unreal Engine, and like, but at the end of the day, like I'm over here thinking about like I'll think about Spec Ops Line and what happens in that story and what happens in the game, and the game itself is not even that good of a polish, you know. Like it's a very like the studio is not that big, and it shows. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because the story, it holds that much more to its importance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think people are starting to try and focus more on stories now, because I know Red Engine 3, which is going to be CD Projekt's next game engine, is actually trying to drive the RPG market, which is really exciting, where they're going to have epic proportions, well, according to them, this is all in an interview, epic proportions, and they want to kind of corner that market for the next generation, which is really fascinating to me. I would much rather love to see something like that as opposed to heavily working on, I don't know. I've already mentioned the particle engine, stuff like that.
Cornering the RPG market is in like more Dungeons and Dragons stuff, or like.
Well, they're doing right. Let me see. They're doing Cyberpunk 2077, and right now they also have The Witcher 3.
Oh.
So they want to make it more able to stream in fully explorable open worlds, and I don't know. It's interesting because it's not the same rhetoric time, you know.
Now, are there engines that are like, you know, text adventure? Because it just reminded me, like, because I've been toying around with writing a book about a certain concept, but then I also thought, you know, this would be great as a game as well. But it would have to be a story game, you know, like it has to be like a text adventure or a visual novel. So, are there engines like that?
Twine.
Like, Twine will pretty much handle
Twine's
that.
Okay.
That's your best bet.
I'll look into that.
There's also some
and then
stuff
do a Kickstarter campaign, try to raise $50,000 and put it on Ouya.
Exclusively.
I don't know if the Twine ports to Ouya, but
we can check. I mean, it's open source, so
yeah. So check that out. And then what other engines have we completely neglected here?
Frostbite.
Let's see here.
I mean, we've got.
Well, I kind of mentioned Dice. Frostbite, if you want to read Frostbite, I wrote a really great article on it. You know, just to shamelessly plug myself here.
that's coming from Dice, and then we also have Source from Valve. Source has been fueling.
Source. A lot of people give crap to Source because, like, they say that it's dead, or not that it's dead, but it's like so old. But it really it's not.
We neglected Square Enix's Luminous engine.
Oh, you know, that tech demo that they showed was pretty impressive.
It was for MMOs and things like that. It'd be interesting.
But at the end of the day, you know, Final Fantasy games are always pretty. I'm never getting I never get into them because of like how complex they are.
I mean, I've been staring at a Realm Reborn, going, I want to play you, but I think I'll get bored.
Yeah, I have that feeling with Final Fantasy game. Like what was it? Final Fantasy 13. Like they had a bunch of trailers and a bunch of different stuff, and I was like, this looks really cool. Except that I know I'm probably not gonna play this game. It'll be an awesome movie, I guess. Like I think I remember downloading the demo just to see the movie, and then once it got to the gameplay, I didn't play it. Which is kind of sad, but you know, that's just me as a person.
Yeah, I mean, Lumines looks good. We also have the Game Maker coming out for people who help develop games like that. That's a really simple interface. Not very robust, but still a lot of ways to get people into the industry.
Definitely. Let's see. And Activision, I don't believe, has figured out what to call the engine that's going to be running Call of Duty Ghosts. Don't think they've come up with a name for it yet.
Well, do you think they'd ever sell it?
No. It'll be just for Call of Duty. But, you know, Call of Duty is a huge franchise. I mean, you still at least can't completely ignore it, right?
You know what I want to see? Like, and this is kind of a divulgence, but, like, I remember reading an article on Pixar's new engine, their in-house engine for making movies. Because they recently changed it. The first movie that used it is Monsters University, and there was a huge internal civil war, more or less, in the company because of the fact that people had to relearn a new engine But the engine that they were using was, going stale. It was going old, so they needed to make a new one, and they developed it, and now the new one is a bunch better, like with lighting effects and whatnot. I'm wondering, what happens if Pixar made a game engine? Like, I'm sure it's different. I'm sure it's dramatically different, but I'm wondering, like, how interesting would that be?
I think it would be really interesting. I mean, looking at even what their old engine did with Monsters, Inc. and Sully's Fur, I mean, they've definitely been on the cutting edge of being able to do stuff. My thing is will their engines ever be able to be interactive? I don't know that. I'm not a coder. I'm not a developer. But I can imagine that's a huge chunk that would have to be addressed. But I think with... Oh, well, Justin, do you have any ideas on that? Because you actually do develop, so...
Yeah, so with the Pixar engine, it wouldn't really matter so much if they made it. What matters is if you have the talent on the people making those 3D animations. Like a lot of the engine would just handle texturing and material work and stuff like that, and so you'd get that, and there'd be they have a lot of great material work and texture work in their movies, but you still need those fantastic animators that are at Pixar, and I think we already have more robust game engines and engines that deal with it, because even with Pixar, it'd just be a movie format. You wouldn't have any of the interactivity or structure that you need for the game. So,
I think the interesting thing about that, about Pixar, is seeing how it's not just in the gaming industry, but also anything that uses like these really intense engines, and how they absolutely change the business models of the companies using them. It's really fascinating to see how there would be almost a civil war inside of a company just switching up an engine based on usages and how everything happens. And it's really interesting to see how these companies are now changing their business model to incorporate what they're doing with their engine, and specifically. It's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, personally, I'm looking forward to the DreamWorks engine. No, I'm kidding. That also brings up another thing.
You get the DreamWorks face on every model.
Oh god.
Like the little smirk.
The raised eyebrow, like.
But that also brings up, what engine did? Because I remember back when the PS3 was announced, they were talking about, or not announced, but like it was nearing its release. People were talking about Ratchet and Clank and their game engine rivaling Pixar movies, because they were showing like cutscenes of Ratchet and Clank, and they looked like Pixar movies. Mm-hmm. So I forget what engine that uses, but Ratchet and Clank also kind of fell off their face.
Well, Ratchet and Clank are getting a movie. So.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, you didn't hear this news? Their movie's coming out soon, within a year or two.
It was a great series, Ratchet and Clank. Same with Jak and Daxter. Same with the other games of the PS2 era, in that regard. But yeah.
I think that brings up an interesting point, though. I mean, maybe if Pixar wanted to bust into the game market, maybe they could just be outsourced to and do the cutscenes, as long as it's not completely foreign to what the actual game engine is doing. That could be kind of cool to see something like that.
I would love for them to work on Epic Mickey 3. Wouldn't that be amazing? I'm just thinking, doesn't it make sense? Like, think about it.
Of all the things I expected you to say, Aston, Epic Mickey 3 was not one of them. Kudos.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things you can do with game engines. There's so many different, it's allowing more people to do it. It's allowing more talented people to get farther. It's allowing all that stuff. What did you want to say, Aston?
I remembered an engine that we completely forgot to mention.
Oh,
one
God,
that
which
was
one?
in mobile. The Havoc engine.
Havoc, that's right.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Havoc, and we also didn't mention R.A.G.E. and so many other more, too.
Well, R.A.G.E. is like... for Rage.
The R.A.G.E engine was supposedly like something amazing, and
Yeah.
it was probably more amazing than the game Rage. So
Yeah.
Not hard.
But the Rage engine is pretty, like, if you ever have the time, my friend has been posting GTA mods for Grand Theft Auto 4 in preparation for Grand Theft Auto 5. But I didn't like Grand Theft Auto 4. I thought it was too boring, or not boring, but like they didn't know whether to be serious or not. And I like Saints Row better. But after seeing these mods, I'm thinking about buying Grand Theft Auto 4. If you have the chance, look up Hulk mod and Iron Man mod for Grand Theft Auto.
This is for Grand Theft Auto 4?
Yeah. And they are amazing as hell. They are, like, Rockstar should make an Avengers game. I'm just saying, because once you look at this video, it just makes complete sense. Because especially for Hulk, like when you're watching this, like, because my friend was like, we were getting each other hyped up. I was like, shit, we need to buy this game now. we need to buy it on PC so we can get the mods and we can play it at my house because I have my PC hooked up to my TV, and like it'll be amazing. Like it honestly, like the things that you can do on that engine, the stuff like, because the Hulk mod, you're playing like you're Hulk, but you can do things like do that and then like all the cars just like bust out of the way. There's a moment in the video where he's like, "Oh, we're stuck in traffic. No worries, guys. I'm gonna clear it out." He does that. All the cars just like fly up. All the fire hydrants nearby busted. Water comes out everywhere. Explosions. And I was just like, yes, this is what like this makes Grand Theft Auto 4 such a better game because you can play that. And then he busts out Iron Man at the same time. So, like, Iron Man comes out of nowhere, he starts controlling Iron Man, and Hulk is, like, running around doing things. And Iron Man has the HUD and everything. Like, and he's flying around like Iron Man, he's doing the moves like Iron Man. And it's just like, this is all a mod. Like, on top of the Grand Theft Auto 4, which is running the R.A.G.E engine. And, you know, there's some really awesome things that come out of the R.A.G.E engine, just like,
the Havoc engine, you mean, right?
Huh?
The Havoc engine, you mean, right? Not Rage?
No, Rage for
Is it
Grand Theft Auto?
Huh. I thought it was id that developed Rage.
Isn't Rage Rockstar Advanced Game Engine?
Or maybe it is. Oh, that's right. Okay, I get them confused.
Huzzah!
Because id made a game engine to make Rage, and then Rage is Rockstar's game. Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't even touch on modding, and there's so much more to talk about with that.
Yeah, and modding, it's its own bag of worms.
Its own topic, and so, you know, more people can make games, more talented people can make better games, mod people can make mods and change games, and it's all getting so much simpler because of game engines, and we will see a fantastic change, and we have seen a fantastic change over the last few years because of these increasing engines and their stuff like that. So what do you think, viewers? You can let us know by tweeting at the Experience Bar, that's at the EXP Bar, or at any one of us. You can see our Twitter handles above on the video. And I'm at Justin LaForge. Aston is at Aston Reyes. And you can reach us on the site, on our Facebook, on Google+, on
MySpace.
What else? MySpace. I'll make a MySpace page for us. Friendster. We've got so many things. Remember to like us. We are doing this for you. So tell us any ways we can make it better, any ways we can include you. If you want to be on the podcast, that's open to debate. We'll just send us an email, send us a tweet, something.
Let us know if you think Justin's on crack.
Well, yeah, that's a small possibility. But we want to say thank you for joining us for Happy Hour podcast number 10. It's been a blast. We want to welcome, and we hope to see you next week. So have a good one.
Bye, guys.
Rage!